Oh, hold on. All right, okay, here we go. All right, Sagittarius, this one's for you. As you know, this is kind of your month, and it's a super heavy duty month. Yay. Oh, I don't know why I'm laughing. It's actually pretty serious stuff. Um, no jumpers, no flyers, no oracles, no reversals. We're just going to keep it super simple, okay? Like a journey of the heart spread. That's what I like to think of. So that's you, Sagittarius. This is Tarot Illumination. This is your general report for December 2017. So you've probably already started to freak out. It's okay. It's understandable. Saturn is leaving Sagittarius at the end of the month and moving into Capricorn, which is like your second house, astrologically. Money, values, things, stuff. Anyway, so enough of that. So we're almost shuffled. We shuffled well in advance before the reading, but I like to go to the last second so that you're a witness. You know, Sagittarius, you know the drill. Watch for your sun, moon, and rising, and reinterpret, tell your own story for yourselves, all right? And just make the best of it. All right. Oof, gosh, I'm kind of all a little flustered here because of this particular reading, and I'm just going to admit it, okay? No point in trying to hide it. It's just kind of a big deal month. So, Sag, you know that there is a full moon coming in our early December, and then there's a new moon. Okay, Sagittarius new moon towards the end of the month, and they're both really strong, and they're both going to hit you right on the nose, on the face, on the butt, whatever it is. There's no way out of it, so just get used to it. All right. And Saturn, I think we just said, is moving into Capricorn, so everything is going to change a lot for you. You've been through so much already for the last 2.5 years. Enough is enough. It's about time for a change anyway. That's your core heart energy there, the pulsing heart energy, which might not even have any words or language to it. This is your legacy energy, what you're bringing in with you, probably from the last 2.5 years of the Saturn in Sagittarius transit, not just the last month. This is the energy of the ever-present now as you're living through this month. You're always in the moment. You're always in the now. And it is in the now that you make your decisions. That's this energy here, okay? We're talking about laws of attraction. I know you know about this stuff. If you don't, you can read up on it. It's very straightforward, okay? So when you're making these decisions in the now, allowing that we have this thing called our past, this thing called our future. And when we are making decisions, we're typically looking into what we call the future, and all the opportunities in life lie in what we call the future, but you can't activate or access the opportunity except through decisions. Okay, so that's this energy here. And then making the decisions. How do we make the most loving decisions that are most loving and effective for you, Sagittarius? Because what works best for you is what works best for everyone else around you, okay? The most loving way to make the decisions. And this would be the energy that you would attract accordingly, so long as you get it with the laws of attraction. If you think life is more like about it's out there and it's stuff that happens and you react to it, then this would feel more like fate. Over here is the energy of what if, like when you're making these decisions and you're looking forward way over here and you're thinking, well, what if it all works out? Oh, what if it doesn't work out? And this would be like the, let's say, the prospects or the momentum, okay? So can you see that heart shape here? Can you see this? Okay, that's the journey. It's about your pulsing, beating heart. This is the core, and it kind of goes this way. That's the story, okay? That's you right at the core. Boof, 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 boof. And then we're going to look at the weather, okay? What's the weather? Ten of Swords. We're done with this. This is over. Enough, 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 enough. Bad attitudes. It's just like you could say, this is it. We're done with the whole Saturn and Sagittarius cycle. Yay, it's over. All the pain and suffering, everything that you've had to endure through your learning processes over the last 2.5 years, of grinding through Saturn and Sagittarius. It's coming to an end, and there is a new horizon unfolding for you. Okay. Okay. So yeah, maybe there's a history of pain and suffering. Maybe you're seeing that as evidence in your surroundings. Maybe you're seeing like the ancient, worn out, beat up battlefields of your life that you've had to live through. Even if you've had your moments of glory, you know, where things did work out at some points, there's still like the carnage and the wreckage of what didn't work. And that's what's going to be outgrown. Okay. What about the pulsing heart? Okay. So you might be kind of almost in shell shock, you know, as you reach the end of this, like exhausted, wiped out, like, oh my gosh. When you look back at this, like if you're getting a bit nostalgic as you get through this full moon and the new moon, you really might come to a stark awakening with that Neptune in Pisces square about how in so many ways you were the cause of your own self-undoing. You were the author of your own demise. And you didn't even know it until it was already like done, like an outcome. And then you realize, gosh, if only I'd known. How come it took me 2.5 years or half of my lifetime to figure this stuff out? Like, and then you start puzzling, like, oh, if only I'd done that. If only I'd done that. If only this. If only I'd loved myself more during that situation. If only I'd loved myself more during that event. If only I'd loved others more during that time. Then it coulda, woulda, shoulda been like awesomeness. Okay, sure, I get it. But don't forget, Sag, you still got this beautiful little miniature Ace of Cups here. It's yours by divine right. All you have to do, you know, with this card, oftentimes I see the energy of attitude of gratitude that is not being activated. And it's an awakening. At your core, at your very pulsing heart being, you might be so beat up and shell-shocked and battle-worn that it's very, 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 very hard for you to change your focus, change your attention, and focus on love, focus on the loving thing, focus on the loving way of being, because you might be so wrapped up in just battle fatigue. It's okay. It's okay to feel that way. It's all going to shift and change anyway. So all we have to remember here is just by energy flows where attention goes. And so you've always got the opportunity and the chance to focus on the good stuff, okay? Just pretend this is a tiny miniature Ace of Cups, and it's just sitting there, right there, waiting for you to grab it, okay? Now, what are you bringing in? Whoa, the end. Da-da-da-da. The end of the end. That's a huge chapter of your life is over. And a whole new life is beginning. Thank you very much. Now, you might not see it in your three-dimensional world, but at your depth, pulsing heart level, you already know this. And you've lived through it, and so be it, so be it, so be it. All of it worked out exactly as it should be. All the horrible stuff that happened, it was meant to happen. All the good stuff that happened, it was meant to happen. That's how you come to growth and realization. All the forces of the universe, you know, earth, air, fire, and water, they call those the elements, or, you know, you can actually break it down like the way they do in astrology. It was all perfect. It was all exactly the way it should be, and it's over. And now you're going to start all over again, and it's just beautiful. The story is epic. In other words, it would be perfectly okay for you to share your war stories, your glorious moments, the most horrific battles, and everything that you had to do, and all the courageous things that you had to do to endure, to get through all this. No matter if you're wallowing in misery and self-pity, it's okay. It's okay. It's almost like it's okay, you know, to hang out with your buddies and have a couple of beverage or something and toast yourself to the heroic deeds. And you know how people do that when they're battle worn. It's just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. But you give each other a big hug and you say, well, hey, we made it, man. We did it. You did it, Sagittarius. And you kind of go, yeah, I guess I did. But man, it was rough. Okay, so let's get over that. What about now? Charging. You're not wasting any time here, Sagittarius. You're just diving into the new chapter, the new life unfolding in front of you. It's going to change. It's going to be very, very different. I'm not a fortune teller. I'm not going to tell you the details of how it's going to change. But when Saturn moves into Capricorn, it's going to change everything for you. Like perhaps your values, what you value, your worth, your sense of self-worth. You might come into a 3-year learning uh, period of discovering how it's so important to value yourself. What is it about you that you value? What is it about others who value you? What is it about you that others value? And so on and so on. And you're going to go charging forward to figure it all out. Because if you don't figure it all out, you end up back wallowing in misery again with more battle scars. So it's like, okay, it's almost a little bit over the top with the king, with the Knight of Swords here. It's good to feel all charged up and primed and ready to go and start all over again so that you can leave all the stuff behind that you want to leave behind. That's great. That's awesome, because I can see why you would want to run very far away from all of this and start from scratch again. That's very noble. It's very enterprising, but it's okay, maybe like over this month, before we actually shift into Saturn and Capricorn, give yourself a break. Allow yourself to chill for a little while. This is almost over the top energy. I mean, I'm happy for you. I'm excited for you. I'm just a little bit, I'm feeling here like, gosh, I hope we don't overdo it. Okay? All right, let's see. What about making these important decisions moving forward with all this firepower going on here? The desire to learn and rise to higher levels of understanding, higher levels of wisdom. Okay, it all has a purpose. It has a purpose to rise up and attain greater mastery of self, okay? Especially when it comes to the heart, okay? If you want to put these two together like this, it's so that you can start a new chapter in life where you can come to stark realization about how the process of executing your life day by day can lead to like woe is me and misery, or the opportunity of more love to arrive. And that all happens by decisions. And the decision-making process is what gets you there. And once you have full sovereignty and ownership and understanding about the decision-making process and how it works, that's how you can attain emotional mastery over the, let's say, the journey of your heart here. This is very much to do with the journey of the heart as you grow and evolve as a soul, as a person, from the depths of your heart and how it manifests outwardly. So with the King of Cups here, making these decisions in the moment, okay, there's a lot of excitement here. I understand you want to move on. You really want to move on. You want to grow. You want to evolve, discover more truths, higher knowledge, higher wisdom, for your own benefit, but also for the benefit of others. This is really beneficial for everybody. So when you're making these decisions, it's not just self-serving. Of course, you know that already. It's about what works for everybody, so that you're dealing with universal energies about how the healing power of love can be activated by your decision, so that whatever kind of turbulence is happening around you in your world through here, for example, in December, you can handle it. You can handle it by taking charge, taking a very, very clear, crystal clear look at the situation and making the most loving decision accordingly. And it might take a lot of courage to do that, because some decisions, a lot of people want to take the easy way out. They want to take half-baked decisions that leave everybody compromised, including oneself, rather than have to make the really tough, important call. So how do we do that? Okay, you exercise your power, Sagittarius. You take everything that you've learned through this period, the last few years of Saturn and Sagittarius, and you put it to the best use. You gather all your skills, all your talents, all your resources from every department of your being, and you make decisions accordingly, with the highest spiritual laws in mind, okay? It's not about self-serving. This is about being very much, let's say, a master decision maker, which is very much to do with the ability to empower and manifest in your world. So when you're making decisions, it's on the understanding that your decisions have very serious consequences. Okay, just even one tiny decision, a yes or a no here, can have huge consequences later on. So it's very, very important to understand. Luckily, you've got this going already, but it's very important to not forget that you could make a decision like today regarding something that could have a consequence for 3 years down the road. Like if you take out a credit card or a car payment, or you get married, or you buy a new computer. These are things that have long-term consequences. You want to buy, you want to do things that have long-term good consequences. So that means taking full responsibility, making the really tough decisions right now instead of the easy way out, being prepared to call it out and make the tough decisions and act accordingly, bravely, and then move on. Okay? So where does that take us? Okay. New prospects, new horizons, maybe a whole new way of seeing how your new world and new life is going to start unfolding. You might start to get glimpses right now here in December, especially right near the very, very end of December. Typically what happens, I want to do a bit of astrobabble here, is like you can start to feel these crescendos, these buildups actually before the calendar moment itself. Like when people build up to the full moon, they can feel that pressure. When they spill out of the full moon over the next 2 weeks, they can feel the unfolding. And then when the new moon starts, they can get that sort of feeling like, oh my gosh, what happens now? Starts all over again, more big decisions. And that's what I feel is happening here for you. I feel it's like this realization that, my gosh, my destiny really does lie in my own hands by taking charge, taking ownership of it's like understanding what love really is. Like loving yourself first is absolutely paramount to anything and everything else. And if you want to interpret these in all sorts of different ways, like a knight in shining armor is going to come and rescue you, or you're going to meet the man of your life, or something like that, and all of a sudden you're going to be awarded win the lottery and become massively powerful because you've got so much money. I mean, I don't want to do that here for you, Sagittarius. I want to go big and wide and broad with the energy. And so let's just say you understand what we were talking about earlier about mastery, owning yourself from the heart outwards, understanding, like pretend that's a little miniature ace of cups, boom, and it's always beating. The heart is always beating. Every beat, every decision, it's all about making the loving decision. And that requires, let's just say it, a lot of power. It requires, you have to dedicate power and energy to making these decisions effectively that work so that you are not undermined or destroyed or drowned by circumstance, okay? Otherwise, you just end up back in this pile of doo-doo all over again, and that's not going to happen. It's over, it's done. So you come to this realization, wow, you are the master of your own destiny, decision by decision. One tiny step at a time, one decision at a time. And that is the Saturn way, okay? It's not like you're just going to leapfrog in terms of evolution from the end of 2017 to 2021 or whatever it is, 18, 19, something like that, 3 years, just because like, oh, I figured it out. Let's just go there now. No, it's a 3-year cycle starting for you where you understand that it is a journey and it's going to unfold step by step, decision by decision. And you don't know it all right now. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know the mysteries. You don't know the pitfalls. You don't know the mountains that you're going to have to climb. You don't know the valleys in which you're going to have to descend and then come back up again. None of that. All you know is that you're going to be facing forward into this, and the destiny is going to unfold as you go along, okay? By deliberately exercising your power in the most responsible manner possible to the highest spiritual, let's say, laws. So where does this take us? Like, what if you mess up, okay, in your decisions and you lose your mastery? Or what if you maintain your integrity and sovereignty and self? Okay, this is what's at stake. It's such a big deal that it's almost like you could lose everything. So It's a stark realization that your physical world is at stake here. Your physical world, like it's so is important over the next 3 years. There is a lot at stake. Like if you mess up on the decisions, you end up like this. Five of Pentacles, realizing I might have surrounded myself with the wrong people at the wrong time for the wrong reasons. Uh-oh. Oh no. And then you realize, like, oh my gosh, when I make the really good, healthy decisions that are very much about loving myself first, which is best for everybody else, then I can avoid this. This does not have to happen. In other words, if you are very loving and are you willing to receive love, receive love, then this does not happen. You don't get that rejection. You don't get that emotional, material sense of lack and poverty and rejection and loss. You get just the opposite. But this is an indication here of what is at stake. This is a very big deal for you, Sagittarius. There's a lot at stake here. So it's very important to make those really, really self-empowering decisions so that your destiny unfolds in a way that's very wholesome for you. It's going to be a tough journey, okay? There's no doubt about it, okay? Where does it take us, okay? Treat it as a work in progress. Please understand that this is a long-term, let's say, trajectory that we are entering right now for you, Sagittarius, where it's going to be like being a farmer, where you've really got your work cut out for you. It's almost like you're having to start all over again. There's a piece of blank land. You've got to till the soil, clean up the soil, pull out all the rocks. Then you've got to plow it. Then you've got to fertilize it. Then you've got to plant it. Then you've got to nurture it and then water it and then observe it. And then when it's ready, you have to, pluck out the weeds. You have to make sure that things are not contaminated, and you have to watch over it so other people don't steal it and everything like that. It's really, really important. There's a lot at stake here starting for you at the end of December, Sagittarius. And it's going to be, let's just say, I don't want to scare you, but it's work. Please see this as very honorable work, that it's really worth doing this, because that's how you create your destiny, okay? And you, of course, want what's best for you. So it does require eternal vigilance. Pretend you're a farmer and you're going to sleep at night and you've just been working for 3 weeks doing this, and this job. And you've got 3 months ahead of you of this, and this, and that job. But you don't freak out by it. You just say, well, that's what it's like. That's what you have to do. That's life. Life is always about like pruning and tucking and growing and nurturing and maintenance. You can't just get in a car, buy it, and it's all gorgeous and new, fill it up with gas, and then just fill it up with gas and run it until it falls apart. No, this is just the opposite. This is about diligence, maintenance, careful nurturing with the long-term approach, so that this doesn't happen and you never have to go back to that. Thank you very much. Okay? Go Sag. Go Sagittarius. Go Sag. Go Sagittarius. Go Sag. All right? Well done. Have an awesome December and super holiday. All right? Bye.